Hi, this is JP and Lars, Trends from the Trenches, and we're talking about what's cool and what's happening in the month of April, so stay tuned. All right, so here we are. Hi, this is JP Morgan. This is Lars Lindstrom, and today it's still Trends from the Trenches.
It still is.
It is. It still is.
It still is.
It's the pre-NAB show, which means there's a lot of quiet out there before the NAB storm.
Yeah, lots of rumors floating around.
Lots of rumors, but it'll be interesting to hear what comes up at NAB and kind of see what we can talk about next time. But I do have a few things to talk about.
Okay.
Canon is talking about a new tilt shift revamp for their 90 and 45 millimeter tilt shift lenses. And the reason they're saying is because they're probably going to rework the optics to be able to work with those high megapixel sensors like the 5DS. And I mean, you got a camera that's got incredible amount of detail.
So what is that? Is that what it is? The detail? So optically, the lens can't be sharp enough to. Is there more chromatic operation? Like what's?
I don't know.
What's the?
It just says optimize them to work on cameras like the 50D, or the
5DS.
Yeah, and the
50
5DSR.
megapixel.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, I don't know. With that camera, are
always
you
thought
really
that
going to go to the 45 millimeter tilt shift? You know,
maybe, but I've always kind of thought that, and maybe I'm totally wrong, and hopefully either you or someone here can correct me. But isn't full frame glass, if it's optically stable, going to look the same no matter what the megapixel?
I believe that's the case. I would guess with this lens though, because the one I have, the 45, it's just, it feels like optically.
You can feel it a little bit.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
Well, maybe it's just time for.
And when it shifts, there's
Mark
just.
II.
I don't feel like I get as nice a plane of focus with it as I'd like, but you know, I don't know.
What other options are there for tilt shift lenses other than Canon? Does Hasselblad make them?
Hasselblad doesn't that I'm aware of.
I don't think Sigma does either.
Does anybody else make a tilt shift lens?
Other than Canon?
Other than Canon?
For Canon mount?
Okay.
And that's why we like doing this here at Sammy's, because we can just turn around and there is an incredible wealth of knowledge behind the counter.
If your camera panned over, there's like 50 people waiting to answer any question that we have.
Cool. Okay, so like a Mark II, just a little bit sharper quality.
Yeah. So I would guess they're gonna. It just says optimize to work on cameras like, and I don't know exactly what that means, but.
Okay.
All right, I think this one's interesting.
Okay.
The world's smallest 80 megapixel medium format camera for drones. It's just a very small box with a lens on it, and it's
cool.
Very cool. The ISO is pretty limited.
800 ISO is the max, so 35 ISO to 800 ISO. So I think we're just going for ultra clean images.
Yeah.
But I don't see. I mean, it's just a tiny little box.
It's just a box. It's barely wider than the lens barrel.
So, but it's a medium format sensor, so that is just a big
huge sensor. It's like all sensor. All sensor and lens.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
How cool.
And look at the weight. It's 950 grams.
Wow.
So it's very light. I wonder if this doesn't have, like, when you look at archaeological applications and things, because what they'll do is they'll get these things up and they'll take pictures of archaeological sites, and you can start to see the footprint in the terrain. So there might be some applications that are not. I mean, we're thinking from a commercial point of view, you know, but there may be some really interesting applications with this that are beyond commercial work by a long ways. But so there you go, world's smallest 80 megapixel medium format camera.
Love it.
Phase 1.
There's a new Arri Alexa camera that was just announced. So we got the Alexa Mini,
which is the new camera.
And a new Alexa camera called the SXT. So it's the same body, same lineup, but it's super extended technology. So it has the Apple ProRes 4K internal. So you can do internal 4K recording, you can do internal RAW recording, and there's just they've increased or improved the color profile. So it's just increased sharpness, enhanced colors, and
so does this put your Alexa out of business?
No, not really, because it's the same sensor. So it's still that same sensor that everybody's familiar with and everybody loves, and they're actually not phasing out the Alexa Classic lineup yet. So my camera's still holding in there.
How long have you had your camera?
I've had it for 8 months.
It's almost made a year.
It's almost made a year. Well, it was
It's going to be outdated
It was
in
a
a year.
four-year-old camera when I bought it, or
Oh,
three-year-old camera. Yeah. So I mean, and for cameras, that's so impressive.
It is nowadays, absolutely.
And it's no matter what happens in the camera world, the Alexa that shoots. I mean, if I wanted to, I could do 3.2K resolution out of it. It will always be a beautiful camera, always, no matter what happens in the cinema world.
Hey, you know what? My Hasselblad
Exactly.
is a beautiful camera.
Exactly.
But it sits on the shelf in my because
of other things.
Yeah, other things have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, Hasselblad have a heart attack if they heard that. I mean, obviously it's the old Hasselblad. It's not an H2. But
No. If it were a digital Hasselblad, you'd be using it quite a bit.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If Hasselblad sent me one,
Take note,
I would use
Hasselblad.
it.
Take
if
note.
you sent us one, we would use. I would use it and love it. I love my Hasselblad. I have a whole case of Hasselblad lenses.
Do you really?
I do.
Those medium format lenses?
I've got
those are
a
beautiful.
40 millimeter. I've got a 105. I've got an 80 millimeter.
80, yeah. The 180. Do you have the 180?
I don't have a 180.
Okay.
But if Hasselblad sent me a camera, I would get a 180.
Yeah, that would be great. A digital Hasselblad on set, it'd be so fun.
Well, what are the chances anyone from Hasselblad even listens to our show?
I don't know. Guys.
Hasselblad?
Anyway, so the Alexa SXT, the super extended technology. It's kind of fun. And you also got the Red has been dropping hints about their new camera coming out.
Are they going to announce that at NAB, do you think?
Yeah, officially, yes. They'll have it
They
at
have to
NAB.
do something. They have been at NAB for several years and had nothing.
Yeah, last couple years, I showed up and I was just like, so you're printing stuff again from your camera? Awesome. But they've got 2 or 3 things kind of in the works right now. They've got a new camera, possibly, called the Red Weapon. It's the weapon now. So we went from the Epic, which was an epic name, to the Dragon.
The Dragon.
Which
gotta love the
is
Dragon.
also epic. To the Weapon. So now you have the Weapon Dragon camera that's possibly coming out. And some of the rumors that are going around, you've got internal ProRes recording, which is great, because up to now, the only format you could record to on Red cameras was, or internally anyway, was the Red RAW. And which was fine, you know, but it's just a bit of a process in post-production. And I don't know, so if you can record a flat kind of red Cine Gamma file onto a ProRes 444 image, which is, I think, what they're trying to do, then it's great because it's a super quick workflow. You can just drag and drop your clips.
That's
and
so nice.
Yes, I mean that's been Alexa's or Arri's kind of motto for the last little bit, and it works really well. Some of the other things that they're talking about having in these cameras is just improved. I think they're putting a new processor in it, so hopefully you get less noise in your higher ISOs. Is what they're trying to hint to.
And what kind of higher ISO are we talking about?
2000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what the Dragon promised originally, but if you've ever shot on Dragon, do not shoot 2000.
Absolutely
do not do it. I don't go above 500 when I'm on Dragon. I mean, 800 is like, yeah, this is okay, but like 500 is kind of where I have to keep it if I have the available light. Another thing Red is hinting about, there's a picture of Brad Pitt on the internet right now holding a PL mount that is for something called their Vista Vision mount. And it's a Super 35, not Super 35, full frame 35 millimeter sensor that they're developing.
So what's their application going to be? I mean, what are they going to do with it?
Well, it's just a larger sensor. You know, so you put a larger sensor in a camera. Now it's 7.2K, and you know, and it has a shallower depth of field. So you're trying to. So I mean,
That's why I still love the Mark IIIs, and that's why I don't love the C100.
Right.
Right. Because I just love that really shallow depth of field. I think you can make the Mark III look very cinematic.
I know you do. Well, you can. It's true. You can.
What does this mean?
You and your full frames.
I love the full frame look.
I know you do, and I do too. I really do. But I mean, Alexa's Super 35. Mm-hmm. The Dragon's like a 1.2 crop, and so the Vista Vision is just going to be a little bit extended, and yeah, just to try to get a little bit more color detail and depth of field, and we'll see. We will see. It's nowhere close to the medium format or 65 Alexa 65. But I can't wait to get my hands on one of those.
So here's some really just kind of interesting things. Rolleiflex put some prototypes on eBay. Rolleiflex is going out of business, so they're trying to sell off their inventory. They put these cameras up on eBay, and they priced them at $178,000 each.
What?
Yeah, but they're like these gold Rolleiflexes. So, I mean, it's kind of the end of an era. So if you want to get a Rolleiflex, $178,000. So there you go.
Wow.
I need to buy a Rolleiflex twin lens before they're absolutely gone. But you have to pay like about $1,700, $1,800 for a twin lens. Rolleiflex.
That's crazy.
If you want a really good one, you do.
Wow.
They're holding their value because of the whole film resurgence, and that younger market. So.
All you had to do is go out of business to sell a camera for $178,000.
But you only get to sell 6 of them. I think that's all they had.
Is it 21?
Oh, no, 21 of them.
Yeah,
so you get to sell 21 cameras, and then you go out of business. Yeah, I don't know. It's a collector's thing. Somebody who's really into it. Okay, I thought this was very interesting, and that is that this kind of someone in Apple rumors picked up this that there's Apple invents a camera with 3 sensors. It's a prism that splits the light, and so they're claiming that this is like the next generation of iPhone,
of photography,
of phones. Is this 3 sensor prism split that they're working on?
What does it do?
So they have 3 sensors, but it splits the light, and so you're getting 3 sensors. They're just trying to figure out a way in that small space
to get a more sensitive light on different sensors.
Yep.
Hey.
So they're talking about it being the next thing. It's their new deal.
I love that, man. Technology, right?
I saw this. I just think it's absolutely. Heads up, the tablet selfie stick is now a big thing. So this huge tablet on a selfie stick to do selfies with.
So many broken iPads.
And of course, look at the dude who's holding it. He's like
so many broken iPads.
I know. It's like you're gonna kill people. Here we are at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Whack.
In related news, forearms are now extremely huge.
I thought that was ridiculous.
It is. You're right.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on in Arkansas.
Okay, I love it when segments start like that.
But then a lot of people are wondering what's going on in Arkansas.
Yeah, but really, aren't we all wondering what's going on in Arkansas?
We are. There's a bill in Arkansas. It's called the Privacy Bill, and it was vetoed, thank goodness, by the governor.
Okay.
But it said that street photography, you had to have permission from the person to take any pictures on the street. So for a street photographer, you couldn't just take pictures of a scene with people in it that are recognizable. You have to have their permission. And of course, everyone was just, freaked out because it's going to kill street photography. And if that kind of thing caught on, it wouldn't be a matter of time. There'd be no way you could ever take a picture out on the street anymore.
So tell me, at what point is, so you got street photography and then you've got commercial photography, right? So if you're doing something for like a company, if you're doing something commercially, what's the parameters there? If you're in a public place, if you take a photo, because I've heard different things. I've put up signs that say filming in progress. If you come past this point, then you give us permission to. But then I've also, people said, oh, well, you still need like names and written.
Those are just to cover yourself when you put up those signs saying if you cross this line, you're going to be in the video. It just helps cover yourself. It hopefully will select out the people who don't want to be in it.
Okay.
But the reality is if it's for commercial application, you have to have a model release. There's no way you can't. If it's going to be used to sell, you have to have a model release. So like all those iPhone images that you see up in New York and everywhere, they have to have a model release from that town. They just have to. If they don't, I'd be shocked. If someone has a different sense about that, I'd love to hear it. But I would just be shocked if you get away with that because you're using someone's likeness to sell a product.
Gotcha.
So you got to have a release. Now, where you cross the line is obviously in news photography. You can take pictures of anyone in any event if it's a public event, and you don't have to have a release. Yeah. Because it's a news event. The case in Utah, a little place called Lagoon, where they had just opened a little ride where the air would blow up from under the ground, from the floor. Yeah. Well, it blew this lady's dress up, and the photographer took a picture, and her underwear was showing. Okay. And he put it in the newspaper, and of course he got sued. Yeah. And because he said it's a public place and a public event, and that happened there, so it's a news event, and they said that everything was okay. It was okay to photograph her. It was okay to be at the event. It was until you crossed the line and you saw what was not a public display, that she did not mean for the public to see, and so they lost. Interesting. On that. Interesting. But that's news. Now the category you get into with street photography is if you're going to try to sell these things or something, is you start to get into a pretty gray area.
Yeah, so that's
you're
kind of
going to do art prints or something.
There's street photographers that are, they do gallery work and stuff like that, and then they sell their prints for a large amount of money. So like, at what point?
Oh, one of my favorite Instagrams to follow is Humans of New York, and that guy is walking the streets and taking pictures. But I would guess he's getting releases from those people.
You think so?
I don't know. I would guess.
He puts them on Instagram, but that's not. I mean, he's not making money directly from those photos until he makes a book. So maybe he does have to.
He probably
because he has books and there's those images in the book.
I can't imagine you could do a book without needing that. We need clarification on that whole world, because I'm not sure. I understand the commercial application completely. When you're going to make money, you've got to have a release.
Sure.
I mean, when I take a picture of anybody, I want a release.
Yeah, I know, me too.
At that point, I have the rights to it, stock rights and other ability to sell it, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, they have value when you get a release. When you don't have a release, they don't have the same value.
So I've been shooting a feature film in Arizona this month, and yesterday we were filming like a party scene, and we had all those signs, like if you cross this point. But then we also had, just to cover our bases, we had 1,500 people sign releases. So we have a stack of 1,500 releases from people just in case we got them. And
all it takes is one person who's half drunk out of their mind, who crosses the line and ends up in the feature film in a prominent way, and they will sue the feature because they think there's money.
Right, but we've got the release now for that reason.
Anyway, I'm glad this bill in Arkansas got struck down, because it's not a good thing for the industry at all.
Gotcha.
So, okay, the only other thing I've got here is Canon just shows off a new 4K video camera.
I was gonna bring that up.
And they had it they really announced this, kind of someone snuck some video of it from a presentation they made in Europe, right? So I don't even know how substantiated these rumors are, or...
We'll see. I mean, it's a 1-inch sensor. It's about half the size of an APS-C sensor.
Yep.
4K video, no price point yet, fixed lens, 2.8 to 5.6, so it's not a constant aperture. We'll see. I mean, it's not a super professional video camera, I don't think. But
this is one of those rumors that I think everyone gets excited about, because everyone is just waiting for the shoe to drop. Is Canon going to finally come out with something that will compete with the A7S?
Well, that's not it.
That is not it.
No, it's a fixed lens. No, this is more of a consumer camera.
Nothing about it that works. So the reality is, when is Canon going to come out with something?
I think this year.
They've got to soon.
I think this year.
A mirrorless camera with really great ISO capabilities, that has 4K capabilities.
And good dynamic range.
They've got to have that. They've got to make that step. But if they don't do it soon, I think they're in trouble in that.
Well, they got something brewing. I mean, obviously with did we mention it yet? The price drop on the C100?
No, we didn't.
C100 and C300 just had a price drop early this week. We've got now the C100 selling for $3,000. The Mark I, not the Mark II, the Mark I.
So what's the Mark II at right now?
$55, still $5,500 because it has the autofocus built in and it's a newer camera. Mm-hmm. And then the C300 selling for $6,500.
Everyone who bought that at what, $16,000?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So mad right now. They're all so mad right now.
But every camera you buy, has that curve.
Yes, but you can't expect people to spend $16,000 every 2 or 3 years for a new camera. What you've got to do is
most people have to buy 2 of them for one thing.
Right. So I bought 2 C100s. Right. So there's people who said, why didn't you buy the C300? It was like, well, first of all, it was $14,000 when I made this purchase, and second of all, I needed 2 cameras. I bought 2 cameras for less than $10,000.
Yeah.
And I do all my weddings with those, all my events. I love them to death, and it's great. It works really well for me. But you've got to start implementing software updates that are somewhat substantial. So like, give me more frame rate options, give me more codec options, give me 4K internal. You've got the 4K sensor, just do it. And it's possible. You can. I mean, Alexa's been updating their camera since day one. The last 3 or 4 years since Alexa Classic has been announced, just better, 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 and most of them are free.
Hey, I'd spend $300 to $500 a year. I would to update my camera
to keep them on
current.
Top. Yeah.
Yes, I'd spend that kind of money.
Give me more dynamic range. Like give me 60 frames on my 5D Mark III in 1080p. Like you can do these things. They're possible because other people have hacked them and they work just fine.
Yeah, Magic Lantern figured it out.
Right. So give me raw capability, internal. You know, give me that kind of functionality.
Yeah.
And that's what I would love to see more in camera manufacturers. The problem is we're a consumer nation, and
we love buying new cameras.
We love
Photographers are the problem. Videographers are the problem because we just love buying new cameras. We love the thrill of it.
It is thrilling.
It is.
But I'll tell you what's equally thrilling: waking up to an email saying, "Guess what? You can do 3.2K on your Alexa camera now, just because." And you know, when yesterday I couldn't do that, and now I can. That's thrilling, and it's free.
So there's news and reviews for Trends from the Trenches, April 2015.
Listen to the podcast, by the way.
That's right. Check us out.
Trends from the Trenches, Apple Podcast, however you get your podcasts.
Yep. Also, if you want to see this entire episode stitched together, go to theslantedlens.com, or we'll put all these segments together in one piece, and that will be up at the very beginning of the month. The other segments will air on YouTube each week for the month of April.
Okay.
So there we go.
Okay.